Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Happy Event Planner session number 4. My name is Oliver. I'm head of marketing at Sweep. Sweep is the beautiful platform that we're using currently for this event, and I'm so excited to welcome you all. We've got so many participants from all around the world waiting for us today. This is really, really exciting. We've got two amazing guests. We've got a very interesting topic and very, very relevant topic in our world. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of interesting content from both our guests today. So this is a great session. I think we're going to dive in directly by giving the newcomers, and there are quite a few newcomers. First of all, a big hi and welcome, but then also a little introduction to this platform that we're seeing right here. On the left, you have the navigation. If you see me right now, you've done everything perfectly right, and you are in the live streaming. In the live stream, under the live stream icon, you also find the digital goodie bag, which is a place where all our sponsors and partners, including the speakers today, have put a little goodie inside for you where you can participate and take a look. On the right side, we have a chat where you can communicate with our tech support team in case there's any issues, but also with all the other participants. So maybe a quick warm-up game here. Let us know where you guys are from. Let us see in the chat where from all around the world you guys have participated. I'd be very excited to see that. You also have a Q&A session. Quick reminder, the session is for you guys, so feel free, shoot questions whenever you want to, add them to the Q&A section, and I'll make sure the questions are given to our speakers, and you can ask the questions there. And then finally, we have the social wall feature, which I'm not going to say too much about because we have the actual founder of this amazing tool as one of our guests, so I'm going to let him explain that in a second. That's it already. One last reminder, under this live stream, you can find the banner to join our global event community on Slack. Feel free, it's for free, and you'll find a lot of global event professionals there, places to network, and so on. So this is it. I think we can continue by bringing on our two guests for today. Let's see if they have joined us already. Here we go, Michael and Virginia. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Lovely to see you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Oliver. Hi, Virginia.
Where are you joining us from today, guys?
Virginia, you want to start?
Yes, I'm in Ibiza, Spain right now. In this beautiful, I don't know if you can see out the window. It's very glorious and gorgeous.
Fantastic. Michael, where are you joining from?
Wow, I'm getting envious in the first minute of this show. I'm calling from Vienna, Austria.
Lovely.
Can't provide any good views. I'm sitting in a phone booth here at the office.
That's fine, Michael. Well, both of you are a good enough view for all of us, so that's great. So guys, before we start, maybe a few introductory words. I'm sure both of you can introduce yourself better than I could ever do. So please let our community know who you are and why you're here today.
You want to go first, Michael?
Oh, sure, of course. Thanks, Mia. Yes. So hello to all the happy event planners out there. My name is Michael. I'm founder and CEO at Walls.io. So that means I'm not an event planner myself. I don't do a lot of events myself, just smaller ones. But of course, my company, Walls.io, it's a software company, and we are working at the intersection of social media marketing and event technology. Of course, this is what brings me here today. What is Walls.io? Well, we are a social media content hub that collects user-generated content from, I don't know, I think it's 13 plus social media platforms right now. So posts, images, videos around your brand, a certain topic, and of course, most relevant today, around an event hashtag. So our customers collect, curate, and display everything that is published around an event, and then they put it either on their main website or within their virtual or hybrid event platform, like here today, on their mobile app, or thinking about the good old days of in-person events, they also put it like on digital screens at the venue, like on video projectors and stuff like that. So in short terms, Walls.io unlocks the engagement potential of social media for everybody running some sort of event. So that's the company. And please stop me if I'm too verbose. Virginia is already getting nervous and wants to chime in. Maybe
I'm celebrating you.
Oh,
This is
cool.
a yes.
So,
hands.
So I thought you're already raising your hands. Like, be brief, be more. Let me know, Oliver, if I should be more brief. Maybe one or two words about myself. My background. I have technical background, so I used to develop software myself until a few years ago, and really. I have been building marketing apps on social media platforms since it's almost embarrassing to admit, since 2008, I guess. Like we had MySpace and StudiVZ back then, and of course Facebook.
Yes.
So that's my that's my origin doing social media software development. Before Walls.io, I also started and ran another social media related company. That's our sister company, SWAT.io, which is a typical social media management tool. Like I said, I don't run events myself. Naturally, given my profession and my businesses, I do attend a lot of business events. I also like to party. I love music, and that's also one of the reasons why I'm so envious of Virginia and that I'm not on the White Island right now. So that's it from me. Thanks for giving me the long intro.
Thank you, Michael. Jenny, over to you. Who are you? And for the few people who don't know you possibly in our community, who are you?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Oliver, for putting this together. And Oliver and I actually met in Salzburg, Austria, where I finished Matura and went to university. So I'm a really big fan of Austria. So I love the fact that you're in Vienna right now. And I'm just celebrating you for your genius and your ability to create these software solutions, because my first company was a marketing agency in London. So I ran social media campaigns and influencer campaigns for, BBC. I launched their Snapchat and worked with Universal Studios and Nasdaq Stock Exchange. And so mine is very much like customer facing, sales, community management, doing events. And so having your expertise on the other side of actually understanding the software building element. And I'm proud to say I was a member of StudiVZ, so I got to witness your part of the legacy. So yeah, thank you for that. It's so important that we're here and having this conversation, and hello to everyone that's watching and with us right now in this dialogue. I think it's more important than ever to talk about how can we bring communities together? How can we utilize these platforms and, utilize these new platforms like we're on right now to actually bring forward our business, our relationships, our friendships, our family intimacy, whatever creative projects that we're working on. So I'm just stoked and celebrate everyone for tuning in here and taking your time. We're going to make it worth your while. I can definitely promise you that. And a little bit about me, my background. So I shared a little bit, 2 years marketing agency in London, and then went full time to just dedicating myself to weaving an ecosystem of businesses that are here to make a difference in the world and create a positive impact. And so part of what I bring to that is marketing, event planning. I've hosted over 50 events in the past 5 years with my community, Humans I Trust. And this is all entrepreneurs and high-level humans that are here to make an impact and collaborate together, because I think that's a big part of the solution. I'm also a Web3 and blockchain expert. Been named one of the top 16 women in the NFT space. I've been advising in blockchain since 2015. So I really love to nerd out about ecosystem building. I'm not the one who builds them though, which is why I'm so excited we have you here, Michael, and other people that understand that world. And I really love to dedicate myself to telling the stories that are going to excite people to help the earth and plant trees with things like NF trees, and make it profitable for us to do so, because I think it should be a marriage between both. So that's a little bit about me. And I guess the personal thing, I'd like how you said that too, Michael. I'm in Ibiza right now. I've been nomadic since I was 3 years old. I've been to 15 different schools across, 3 different languages. And yeah, I'm here to be of service in any way that I can. I'm a supporter, so I like to support projects and visionaries and connect people so that we can work more happily and efficiently together.
Lovely, guys. That was a beautiful introduction. Maybe in the history of this show, the most beautiful, inspiring introduction that I've heard up to now. Thank you very much. We're going to dive into everything in a second. There's just a little competition that I would like to announce before, and it's a perfect fusion of both of you, actually. People watching, you have the great chance to win one of the mentioned NFTs that Virginia is going to very briefly explain in a second what it is and what you can win. To do so, take a photo of yourself watching this session and post it on social media with this hashtag, the Happy Event Profs, our official hashtag. And Michael, what will happen when the people have posted their picture on social media with this hashtag?
Well, the good news is one of those people might be the lucky one to win the grand prize. So from our side, from Wallstore.io, we are very happy to contribute a 20% discount code for all our plans. So that includes the event passes, the subscriptions. It's a lifetime discount. So that's what we are happy to give back to the Happy Event Planner community today.
And Jenny, what's the grand prize?
Ooh, drum roll. So the grand prize is our Genesis NFT of our community, Humans I Trust. And this has been a community that's been around for over 5 years now and is global across the whole world, with also land project like trust villages. So there's physical villages that you can go and visit. We also have a chocolate factory outside of Asheville with the healthiest chocolate in the world, where we don't use any sugar, only coconut sugar, so no refined sugars. And the NFT is essentially kind of like a share, because it's the Genesis, it's the first one into Humans I Trust. And it's the first step that you need to get into our DAO, because we want to build trust. So it's not like other NFTs where you just buy an NFT and then you're part of the DAO. But with this, it's an angel wing. So you receive your wings first on your quest to becoming an angel, and the angel wing gives you access to one of our Humans I Trust events around the world. So that you can come and actually meet us and see you face to face, so that we can take it off the online space, and it's a sharehold into the community, which is incredible and is going to be doing incredible things for centuries to come. So you can either trade it, resell it, you can come to one of our events, and become part of this community.
That's fantastic, and the beautiful prize. So again, please post a photo of yourself with this hashtag. It's going to be seen in the social wall on the right in your platform, and the grand winner will win. So I think that was long enough introduction, guys. We are going to dive right into the topic. Social media marketing hacks for event marketers. I think we've got quite a few global event marketers on the line today. You two are professionals in this, as we've already heard, coming from two different worlds. I want to start with a little introductory question. Social media now, I mean, it's been around for a long time. We've all got our platforms. We've all seen platforms come and go. You mentioned MySpace before, Michael. That's long gone, but still somehow around. Where are we standing today on social media when it comes to events? What importance does social media have when it comes to the promotion of events? And do we still need it at the moment? Or basically that's my question. Go, your microphone, guys.
So if I may get started on this question, I mean, as you pointed out, we are doing social media marketing. I can honestly say, like, since decades. It's the second decade now, and it's like if I remember back to the early years where we really had to explain stuff and convince customers or clients to start being active on MySpace, StudiVZ, later Facebook. Of course, that's like a totally different world now. Social media marketing is, in my opinion, like a solidly established cornerstone of any online marketing strategy, like content, like SEA, like SEO, so that's like just a part of the game now, and you don't need to convince anymore, which makes selling software that much easier. So very happy about that. What is exciting about social media still is, I believe, it's even faster, or still fast evolving and faster evolving than many of these other online marketing disciplines. So that's what remained exciting, and that's what keeps me exciting in social media even after so many years. Like every few years a new platform pops up, another one goes away. It's also exciting to discuss all the legal aspects of social media marketing and the privacy aspect. So it never gets boring. Also from a technical perspective, of course, as a software vendor, it's a super challenging space to be. You are like constantly fighting the dependencies with all the social media APIs. So it's just a very exciting space to be in. And again, no online marketer can seriously skip social media in their strategy.
Absolutely. Jenny?
I love that, Michael. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I really think so. As a community builder myself, these past few years, I've really been asking myself, how do we scale the non-scalable, right? Which is the highest touch of interaction, which is the personal interaction, right? Like first we have, in-person conversation, and then we have maybe FaceTime, then we have a phone call, right? And then so there's like, it kind of scales down, right? And the sort of like one of the lowest forms of interaction is maybe just like a like, or like, how yes, you have those pokes. I'm just gonna poke someone slightly. And now it's becoming less and less. And like with my Instagram posts, like right now, like I am hardly getting any reach. Like it's kind of ridiculous of how we're constantly fighting against these algorithms. And what I've found is that it's a combination strategy. On the one hand, I have my social media, I have my posts, I have my stories, my reels and things like that, like trying to go viral and telling the story and creating like the allure, the magnetism, the excitement around whatever it is that I'm building. But then really like what makes the deciding factor is that personal touch, is that one-on-one invitation. And I've actually built Humans I Trust primarily on WhatsApp, because I've been inviting people one-on-one through creating, like a little flyer, an invitation, and with a personal voice message of like, hey, I want you to come. I thought about you, and so, when talking about these social platforms, I think it's also important to talk about the importance of how we can gamify and scale these high touch interactions. And so depending on what your organization is or how many people you're trying to get to an event, it might be really difficult, right? If you're like Live Nation and you're like hitting people up that want to come to Rock im Park and be like, hey, we want you to come, But if it's the sponsors, right? Or if it's like the, really high end people, then you can give that personal touch. And so I just want to throw that into our dialogue a little bit as well when talking about these social platforms, the importance of having this personal outreach. And even if it's just someone that's going on your Instagram to everyone that follows you, like let's have, a personal assistant, 5 personal assistants on this that are sending everyone a personal message, and not these like mass messages that people get sent that are totally awful, that you get in your inbox and you're just like, oh, you feel like violated. But like an actual personal message when someone likes some of your profile, when they comment on something, when they, and say, hey, I noticed that you really like this music, or I really love this photography that you're doing. So I would say it's paramount to what we're creating. And also I enjoy the conversation of like, how can we make it better and how can we improve with these platforms and these tools that we have available right now?
I mean, this for me sounds a lot like the topic of personalization and proper targeting. We had a fantastic session with Francesca Balit in our last Happy Event Planner, where we talked a lot about segmentation, targeting, getting the right message at the right time, etc., etc. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Jenny, you do your own events, various kinds of events. I've been following them for years, obviously. Without wanting to go too much in the nature of the events, how do you promote these events on social media? What important strategies do you use to get the message out there?
I use something called an Instagram story funnel. And the Instagram story funnel is this process of where you first talk about like a problem or something like relatable that people may have, right? Like, let's say, do you struggle finding other entrepreneurs that you connect with in your area, right? And kind of like laying out the problem. And then what you do is you lay out the solution, right? And then, or with that, you can maybe do testimonials, like things that other people have said or have reacted. And then, you kind of like paint the picture of how you are solving the solution. And then at the end, there's an invitation, which is, DM me this word. And so you want to like make it as easy as possible for people to join the thing. So it's either like click the link in the bio, send me a DM, and add a little bit of a personal touch to it. So that's kind of what I do is I create this Instagram story funnel. I have people DM me, let's say Humans I Trust Ibiza, and then I send them the link, or someone from the team sends them the link to the event, right? So that's kind of how I've done it. And then as well as just creating a lot of content around post, feed, and then building the community, having an already existing seed of people that are cheerleaders to what I create, and then they naturally, create the network effect.
Community.
If I may chime in, does it mean you are using Instagram primarily or exclusively, or is there other channels, other platforms that are important for the events you're marketing and then running?
It's all over Instagram, WhatsApp, and Telegram. It was Instagram and WhatsApp, but now Telegram has come to it as well because our groups are too big and we need to have Telegram groups.
Got it.
Cool. Question to both of you. This was basically the first hack that we've heard from for the session today. So the Instagram story funnel. What other trends are you guys currently seeing on social media when it comes to promoting events and event marketing? Is there something that struck your eye recently where you're like, oh, this is something interesting that maybe you want to try yourselves? Or what have you seen lately?
So, if I may, I guess what I would say is, of course, let's move the obvious aside. Last 2.5 years were a time of big change for the whole event industry. What I saw emerge in the last few years is, and that's of course a marketing topic first and foremost, is the move, brands or companies, organizations moving away from having this one time a year peak signature event, and then there's silence for the next 12 months, and instead seeing events more like a community brand, or like building communities around the event brand. What I mean by that is like having like several events, maybe one every month, maybe smaller events like a webinar or a webcast. Which then are like augmented with the big 1 or 2 times a year event, and like keeping people, the event community, engaged all through the year. Not just invest all your time, money, and branding resources into this one day per year, but instead try to create something more sustainable and also something with more impact if you really run it very well. So this trend from moving away to marketing single day or one time a year events to marketing community and running or building a community around the event brand, I think that is one major trend I've seen that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. Realizing that it's important to have more touch points with our community. Like in terms of marketing, I'm just seeing a lot of reels. So I think like reels are incredibly important. Like using viral reels, viral audio to craft your message. Like that's just the highest returning thing that I've seen, and feedback that I get across the board from brands that I work with and from our community of just like creating that virality and just making ourselves as brands just more accessible and more human and just like more playful as well. And yeah, I think the other thing is, I don't know if this is a trend, but I think it's just important to like re-mention it, the importance of working with influencers in our communities, right? And so it's powerful because it's like, well, maybe we can have like some big celebrity, but that person might not be 100% relevant for our community, right? So I find that communities naturally have stars and celebrities within their communities, even if it's just someone that a lot of people like or does amazing talks or is an essential part of the community, empowering that person as an ambassador and highlighting them and just saying, hey, like once a month, Richard is going to do a talk, or Stephanie is going to interview someone, and just like, highlighting those people and bringing them more into the forefront so that they can build the community for us, for the brands.
The evangelists. The people behind the brand, behind the story. I just want to add to something Michael said, the example. I think also we here at Sweet, we fully agree that events are becoming more frequent and more regular and possibly like smaller instead of concentrating on the actual one big event per year. And we also see the importance of engaging with your audience and your community between the events. So it's not anymore this, okay, we're going to concentrate all our efforts into this one amazing event that's going to blow everyone's mind, and then we're going to ignore our community for the rest of the year. It's more about the whole pre and post event phase, and what are we going to do there? How are we going to keep the people engaged? How are we going to keep in touch? And again, back to the topic of segmentation, and later we're going to speak about content a little bit more. Having the right content for the right people, and really just giving them what they need, and using the event basically as an accelerator and as a way to have more touch points to find out what the people actually want to hear, and then feed them throughout the time with content. And this is how, at least we see, the best way to really get people attached to the brand and the product.
I'd love to share something that. Both of us are so inspired by you, Oliver. You're just like,
I just wanted to iterate on the last question before I answer all those questions. Or at least I tried to. I was positively or even surprised that nobody here on the panel, when talking about trends, mentioned the metaverse. The metaverse that is like going to be the primary place to hold events in the coming years. I'm not sure for which reason, but as you may guess, I'm like a bit skeptical, at least on the timeline of when this is going to happen. But this maybe should also be added. And we do see a lot of event platforms recently trying to enter the space. Not well, there's potential, but it's not there yet. So regarding all your questions, how to engage the community around your event, and how to tailor content for them. So I guess I'm not enough of a strategist or event planner myself to really answer that. I can answer it from a consumer's perspective, from the audience perspective. And I believe actually we are not reinventing the wheel here. I think if I think about my favorite real life in-person conferences, it's those conferences who did exactly the same. Not just disappear after the day of the event, but offer some sort of community forum, a place for people to connect after the event, ongoing content initiative during the whole year, being it a blog post or a podcast where current or future speakers are being interviewed. So this is more like, I'm talking specifically about business conferences now, naturally. But this is what made the best in-person conferences in my point of view. And I think it's actually very similar, or maybe even the same thing if you're talking about a virtual or hybrid event community. Do exactly like something like that. Know your audience, know what content they might be feeling is useful to them during the whole year. Extend the content of your one time a year events to the whole year, and basically just try to offer as much value as you can. I would say what is not solved yet, or not for everyone, is of course where should this happen, and where's the platform to do that. I think there's good software products already which available, which where the event experience doesn't just disappear magically after the event, but which is available 365 days a year. I think these platforms, when executed well, must offer a ton of features like I said, content distribution, networking opportunities, and so on and so on. And I think that should be the way to go. If it's a mobile app, also fine. I think the real good event brands are doing exactly that already, and something that others could aspire to.
Thank you. Yes, agreed on everything you've just said. Thank you very much. Jenny, do you have something to add? We can't hear you, Jenny.
Sorry, here we go. I was just saying, sorry, I had to plug in my laptop, otherwise I would have been gone. And yes, I do have something to add. I love everything that you're sharing, Michael. I think that's incredibly important for us to have continuity in content and engagement, as well as giving our community a common goal, a common vision, something that we're creating together, right? If that's even as simple as like, hey, like how about we all collectively plant 1,000 trees, by the end of the year. And it's like anchoring in this, something that we create together, and also creates content around that. And every time you plant a tree, then post it in the group and whatever it is, and getting people maybe also to like raise funds together for a cause, if that's, the ocean or plastic removal or something like that. I've just seen that work a lot in our community and get people really excited and engaged, because we're activating our sense of service. And I mean, there could be a lot of different other examples. This is just something that's particular to us, but in every organization, we have a common goal that we're trying to reach. And the more that we get our community involved into that goal and into the process of us reaching that goal, the more excited we are, because, we want to see a result at the end. Like, we're not just here to just spend our time for nothing. We also want to come together and making something happen. So, I'd say that's another little nugget of wisdom towards that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let's stay on the topic of content. So there's two ideas where I want to dive into a little bit more, because this is something we've been speaking about a lot here at Sweep as well. One is user-generated content, something you've just mentioned, Jenny. So users get involved in the whole content procedure. But then also the topic of on-demand content. Now, today we have this event. We had quite a few registrants, actually the second highest amount since we started, which is fantastic. But I know not everybody is going to join. But I see more and more people also contacting me via email and saying, look, I can't actually join the event because I'm busy, I don't have time, whatever. But I'd love to see the recordings afterwards. So this whole idea of creating content during the event that then later can be shared with your community. How do you guys go about that? And how would you recommend event marketers to go about that topic?
Virginia, you want to go first?
I will let you go first, my dear.
I don't have like a super strong opinion, since I am not this is not like my side business. So again, I would probably answer from an audience from the audience's perspective. I mean, of course, it's great to be able to watch all that content on demand. I think it should be applied in the correct way, and like restructured or recut or whatever, so that it really makes sense. I don't think it's enough to just dump that 4-hour video recording onto your on-demand audience. It should be prepared and cut up in bite-sized pieces or something like that. Also depending on the platform, right? I mean, because then once you have it on demand, you can of course start marketing it on all the social media platforms. And that's also why I've asked Virginia before if there are other platforms she's using. I think of course it depends a lot about your audience on which channel you actually go, and maybe we can talk about that later on. But repurposing your conference or event content for the various platforms is of course a lot of work, but also like the key to successfully redistribute then afterwards. So that's just a few thoughts on that question.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think creating our content in a way that is native to each platform, right? When you're creating for YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's just completely different, and making sure that we're also speaking and catching people where they're at, right? It's like you can look at the statistics and the data around the different times, like why someone's there, like what they're doing, and just speaking to them exactly with the right message in that moment. Sometimes I'll see ads and things like on Facebook where I'm like, what? Like, I don't understand, like, who made this, like, what were they thinking, And so really making it like native to how other people and influencers are posting. And I'm seeing marketers getting very smart with that right now as well, especially on stories where I'm like, oh, am I watching a friend's story? And it's like, oh, this is a brand. This is very clever. So just, really just tuning in with our community around what content do they actually desire, as well as asking our community, and I think we can do a better job of getting more data from our community and our users and our customers, of just really asking, like, why do you guys come to us? Like, what would you like to see? What would you like to learn, about our products or our services or our team, and then giving more of an insight into that, and just listening to them.
Lovely, thank you.
I loved how you mentioned the mistargeted or badly targeted ads. That is one of the biggest fail of the social media marketing industry. But sorry if I interrupt or go off your script or your script, Oliver. But I just remembered. I just remember since we're talking about hacks, just remember the very good, although simple and might be obvious, and I hope not for everyone, event marketing hack when it comes to paid advertising. One thing that I've seen people pulling off very successfully is if you have a reasonably sized conference where your target audience is going to be, like, let's say like us, we're talking to online marketers first and foremost. We know there is the DMEXCO in Cologne, I think in September or October, whatever. And I want to reach those people, but I'm too cheap to buy tickets, or I don't want to go there because I hate people, or I don't know what. What is a really cool and simple hack is like do paid advertising, primarily Facebook, and do like micro targeting. Target the Messezentrum, the trade fair in Cologne. Make the targeting as small as possible, and you will reach mostly attendees of this conference. So hopefully that's new to some, but it's super proven and useful. Anyway,
this is already the perfect outtake of this session for redistributed content after this. Thank you, Michael. The ultimate targeting.
And I have to admit, I'm not a paid advertising expert on my own. I hope I didn't leave out any important details, but that's the concept. And like I said, we have a lot of friends and partners in the agency business who are using this to great success.
Fantastic. I mean, about half of the attendees today are coming through an advertising campaign that was put on LinkedIn, for example. The other half are from our existing community. So we see success with the ads. We see success with getting people interested. Now, Jenny, you mentioned you're mainly on Instagram when it comes to this stuff, and then messengers. Michael, I know you're quite active on LinkedIn, and maybe you can say a few words about LinkedIn as a platform and what potential LinkedIn has itself. Because me personally, I see two things emerging there, and that's one is this personal branding and getting yourself out there, positioning yourself as an expert, and using that to market an event, for example. And the other thing is just the growing engagement and interaction and the development LinkedIn has gone through over the last years, which is impressive. What's your opinion on LinkedIn, and how can you recommend people in the event business to use LinkedIn to the best?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I mean, that's a more general social media strategic question, or a question everyone must ask. Not the first question. First, you should ask why and what do you want to reach, the goals, etc. But the second question is, where's your audience? And that's the platforms you should focus on. So I can't give you like a general recommendation of doing event promotion on LinkedIn. If you're promoting If you're promoting, I don't know, a DJ club session in Ibiza, you will probably not go to LinkedIn. Obviously, you might go to TikTok or Instagram. But for those where it makes sense, and of course it includes basically everything in B2B and a lot of other things, LinkedIn is a tremendous opportunity. It has definitely, I would say it's probably developed the most of all the platforms in the last few years. At least from a business perspective and from an advertising perspective, it's really super powerful. Personally, I'm not that much into the personal brand building stuff. I'm just way too lazy for that, and prefer like sitting in front of my computer or my Google Sheets and doing my thing. So I'm too lazy to that. But obviously, you can see how great it works if you have expertise. If you're outspoken, if you wanna position yourself in your category, in your industry, a great way to do is creating content on LinkedIn posts, the Pulse articles and whatever, using the creators feature. All good stuff. Do it if you are into that and can pull it off and are consistent, have something to say. A great way. If you're not, if you just want to promote your business or your event, of course, opportunity is also great. The advertising side of LinkedIn has improved tremendously. Maybe not as good as the Facebook ad platform, but I think for business use cases, equally good. I mean, every one of us knows, of course, or I guess, or maybe let's phrase it as a question. Does any one of you feel super hard LinkedIn fatigue recently or in recent months? And by that I mean you're really almost scared to look into your network tab where you have all the incoming requests. Do you know that feeling where it's no, I can't go through that? And then you leave it for weeks until you have hundreds or I don't know how many requests. That's the dark side, I would say. That's the issue. It's getting oversaturated by marketers and salespeople. I have nothing against marketers and salespeople. Please don't get me wrong. But there's so much soliciting, or let's call it spam. Let's put the right word on it, going on. So that's the downside. I think be aware of that, and that's also something what Virginia put very well. Don't do fully automated outreach campaigns. Please personalize, etc. I like all the personalization aspects that you mentioned, and that I think not just for LinkedIn but in general is key. One last word about LinkedIn. Sorry for rambling on. Okay. So great platform for personal brand building, for paid advertisement for companies. That's all good. There's one big downside, especially for Walls.io. We are a user-generated content tool, so we are collecting posts for a certain hashtag, for example. A big downside is, and that is something you have to keep in mind if you plan a UGC campaign or event, that LinkedIn simply is not very well suited to do that. For technical reasons, they simply don't allow tool providers like us to really access hashtag data or hashtag posts. That's a huge downside. We are really bummed about that daily, but it is something that LinkedIn has decided for now, that they don't allow marketers, event organizers, or application providers to access this hashtag content. That is really my biggest issue with LinkedIn right now.
That's what keeps you awake at night, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, I've had many years to get used to that. LinkedIn is also not the only platform which is restricted in that way. I mean, one last sentence. So if you really want to do UGC, it's all about Twitter and Instagram, really. That's the two platforms where you really, really can do a lot around the hashtag, around user-generated content. That's a very simple statement. Everything else is not as good. Is not as powerful at least for UGC in terms of using software to do it. Of course, you can do manual stuff. You can manually look at the LinkedIn hashtags, at the TikTok hashtags, etc. There's also some tools who are in the gray area and not doing stuff that is not really allowed. I would not recommend that, but it's definitely possible. So for big UGC campaigns, Instagram and LinkedIn. So
perfect. Thank you. That was a very awesome third social media event hack from your side. Thank you, Michael. So we're reaching the final phase of our event, and I would like to use this to take a look into the future. Now, Ginny, you've been moving around in the so-called Web3 very much lately, and this is a space that people who are in there tend to call that what comes after the internet. I've heard, at least I've heard that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Thinking about marketing opportunities in the future, and Michael, I'm sure you have equally something to say to this. Where are we going with the future of marketing opportunities through social media after the internet? What's going to happen? What should we look out for right now? What should we be excited about?
Yeah, so Michael mentioned already the metaverse. I'm working right now with a new partner that does this incredible AR technology. So where like you plant trees like in front of you, like while you're, in the space. So I think we're just going to see a lot of just new innovation in that and gamifying and kind of being a little bit more immersive. I think that's why the metaverse has such an allure, because it's like because if we're honest with ourselves, like we actually spend quite a lot of time like in the digital world, we're in the digital world right now, so it's like a lot of our time is spent on these online platforms, and wouldn't it be amazing, instead of it being this huge thing that we're afraid of, like actually like looking at, us being here and us just seeing ourselves on a screen, like us stepping into a room and seeing a 3D sort of version of ourselves, So I just think that, right now we're still very early stage. There's not such mass adoption, as there potentially is going to be once Meta, Facebook literally changed their name to Meta. So it's like, I think they're going to be, they have like the largest user base of, and networks in the world. And so I think that there's just going to be a really new innovation in AR, VR, the metaverse, and bringing our communities and our services and our products more to life in the digital space, and connecting them to more to a purpose, right? Like it's like, well, what are we doing? Like, is it just like a McDonald's in a metaverse, or is there something there that's happening that's where people are actually have a purpose to be there, right? Especially, and like companies are going to have to get smarter, because it's like, well, how do you sell digital things? And this is why I think NFTs are so powerful, is because it's created an entirely different asset class, and it's made the blockchain and Web3 more viral, because it's like people couldn't really understand cryptocurrency or mining or servers and all this other kind of stuff. But like pictures of monkeys, like we understand that, like that makes sense. It's like, I don't understand why, like people are like, I don't understand why that costs $6 million, like a picture of a monkey. Like, what does this mean? And so people start getting curious. And so I think with NFTs, we've seen the highest adoption, onto Web3 ever. And I think in future, an NFT is going to be like an entire company, because for each NFT, you can, give a share of 100% to different entities and collaborators. So it's just highly collaborative. It's highly profitable, because all you're doing is creating a digital asset. And of course, you have to have something beyond that. So I think we just have more things to play with, and more tools under our belts of how we can create stories and engage our community, but also incentivize them, making them shareholders, and almost like part owners of things that we create. So I think that's going to be some of the innovation that we see within Web3.
Just a little hint there to everyone listening. We had our second Happy Event Planner was about the metaverse, and actually it happened in the metaverse. So if you want to find out more about the metaverse, go onto YouTube, look for the Happy Event Planner, and check out how we were deep dived into that topic directly from the metaverse. It was very exciting.
May I ask what platform, what software did you use for?
That was our 3D venue partner Mootup that we work together with, and which is also integrated in our platform. Cool. Michael.
I mean, I didn't wanna sound too skeptical before. I just think the timeline for metaverse is still quite far out, given the fact that we need better devices and stuff. But before we go on, I would really love to. I mean, it's good to have someone on the panel who actually knows what they're talking about when talking about NFTs. So, what I wanted to ask, I mean, I get I don't get the 6 million age either. Luckily, it's down to, I don't know, 100,000 or something like that. It seems more reasonable still. High. What I wanted to ask, so I understand NFTs as long or as soon as there is some utility connected to it, right? So I don't understand the collectibles. I do understand it, but I'm not interested in it. I like the utility aspect. What I wanted to ask is, Virginia, do you have any specific examples, or did you see any real life NFT usage applications in the event space already?
Well, I mean, other than the one that I just mentioned, right? So, that's what we've created with our events, and we're also going to be creating custom NFTs like per event, so people can actually collect them. But I think Bored Ape Yacht Club is actually another example. I have a lot of friends that own Bored Apes, and they go to their Bored Ape events, and they'll have like I think what just passed was it Bitcoin Miami, something in Miami, some big Miami crypto thing. And there was like hundreds of people, big concerts, and so bringing community together and utilizing NFTs. Oh, another one is called Friendly Pandas. And they're just like panda photos. And I was invited to a sushi dinner in LA with the Friendly Panda crew, and so it's like you had to have a special sushi panda in order to come to the sushi dinner. And I got gifted one by one of my friends who has like 20 of them or something. But so, it just becomes like this real life thing, where we're all like together at a conference, and my friend Raj is like, hey, come to me with this Friendly Panda sushi dinner. And I was like, and then he's like, I'll just give you a Friendly Panda. And he like sent it to my MetaMask there and then, So I just think like just the technology, the gamification, the relatability. Like one of the things that we're working on right now with brands is NF trees, and we're speaking to some of the biggest brands in the world to launch an NF tree for them, where let's say they plant 1 million trees, and then they also. So they're donating it, but they're also receiving the NF tree in their treasury. So it's a way where usually maybe a company would just be donating to offset their carbon or plant trees, but they actually have a physical asset that they can then resell. So I think it makes it more fun and more attractive. And then think about it from a marketing campaign perspective, company X, one of the top 10 Fortune, let's say, and it says it, then because you can take that, it's a visual representation of how many trees they planted or whatever else it could be, right? It allows us to combine art with the messaging around what we're doing, as well as having a digital asset that then holds value. And then through, let's say, that brand creating that NFT and or purchasing it or selling it or whatever, it creates massive amount of awareness for them, and it also puts them into a space of, being one of the pioneers and forerunners within this space. And a lot of big brands have already jumped on board and are building in the metaverse and creating NFTs. So yeah.
I love it. And I'm a little like almost like playing the contrarian here. That makes so much sense, and I think it's especially important to focus or to highlight the community aspect, of at least for those NFT projects that are run well. And so in that regard, that's full circle coming back to the event community. So absolutely, I can see that happening.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for this. And thank you for this little preview to the future. Now, we only have a few more minutes left, and we have 2 questions in the Q&A from our community to you guys. So let's try to help Thomas and Daisy, the 2 Happy Events professionals that are sent in the questions. I'm going to start with Daisy. Daisy says, hello, I'm the events manager for a children's adventure park where we host about 5 to 8 events per year. Do you have any useful tips for B2C organizations? Now, this already goes very much into marketing and marketeers. Ginny, knowing you've been around a lot and worked with so many organizations, what would you recommend, Daisy? How can she, I suppose the question goes into the direction, how can she promote these 5 to 8 events on social media per year? So what are your thoughts here?
Well, Daisy, that sounds amazing what you do. First of all, I want to go to this children's park. And I think a big, obviously I'd sort of need to look a little bit more about the demographic and have some more details to give you like a more specific campaign. But I think a big part of probably what your role is to be marketing to the parents, right? Because it's like, I don't know how old these kids are, but if they're like between 5 and 13, they're not like searching themselves, being like, where am I going to drag my parents off to this Sunday, And so, yeah, so probably for the parents, and building that parent community really strong, getting the parents together and just, creating like speaking to them and the problem that you're solving for them, right? So making their kids happier, getting them together with other kids, helping their kids have friends, right? Like right now in the digital world that we have, like kids are not growing up the way that we did, and in cities and in places like people can feel very lonely, especially the kids, so creating like an environment where you're inviting them to like make other friends and spend time with their family. So it's like creating content around that and maybe interviewing the parents, right? So it's like, what are the parents maybe saying after the event, and telling the story and connecting with the people that are coming to the park, right? So it's like, so if you have people in there 7 days a week or 5 days a week, you have this huge audience of people that are coming in, and so telling the stories with these people. And then also, a reminder to what I said before around like, what's the common mission, right? Like, what's the mission of the park? Is it to create happier kids? Is it to create happier families? And so weaving that into the storyline, and then as you have the events, having maybe a little like give back element or a community element, or what if the families were to bring clothes to donate or food for like other kids in need, or whatever, like some kind of that is relevant to your community, where you are, and what you guys can do together. And I think that could be helpful. So creating content, interviewing the parents, and inviting them, and creating an incentive for them where they're just like, yes, I need to take my kids here because every time we go, we have the best time ever. And, there's less fights in the house or whatever. So yeah, those are a few thoughts.
Awesome. That was lovely. Michael, anything to add for that one?
Great advice. Do everything Virginia says. I would like to switch to a more like tactical level. It's a kids park, right? The children's leisure park or something like that. Did I understand that right? So one issue, of course, is how to promote this. You can't just walk around your park and shoot pictures of random kids and put them on your Facebook page. That's probably not going to end well. So that might be an issue, because what happens is like, yeah, you have this staged photos, and it's not authentic, and I think that's like a natural case where you could turn towards user generated content with some care all the time. If kids are involved, I think extra care is necessary. But once you're looking at UGC, it's almost too easy. I mean, first, you need a hashtag. That's first and foremost. And like, I mean, if I can add another very obvious, very simple, but yet often forgotten social media hack, that would be like how to pick your perfect hashtag as an event brand or as a company, whatever. And I think there's only three or four things that you have to do for choosing a hashtag. It should be short as possible, and still readable, like no abbreviations and stuff like that. It must be unique, so making sure that there's no other brand, other organization using the hashtag. Use Twitter search to verify that. For events, if necessary, add like the year to the hashtag. Makes sense. So brevity, uniqueness, and of course branding. Yes, it should obviously contain your brand, company, or event. And so that's the three things you have to do. Bonus points. Let some people on your team look over the hashtag. In this case, definitely makes sense to include more people, diversity. makes also sense because people just see things. You can easily fall into a trap and have like a hashtag that has like two meanings or has a different meaning in another language or in another country. So that other people do. So that's the four. It's 4 rules for choosing the hashtag. Once you have the hashtag, in the kids park, in the children's park, you put up a photo opportunity. Like either you cut out the hashtag out of big wooden letters, or these things where people the photo opportunities. Let people let people do the marketing for you. The content will be 10 times better. You won't have any legal issues, and it's just way more authentic, and it will sell more or convert more. That's the whole idea, or the whole secret. It's not so secret anymore behind the UGC, that it's content that is actually converting better. So that's on the tactical level what I would suggest to do. Of course, I don't know the kids park, how big is it? Is there enough visitors to actually generate like a content flywheel? But that would be my advice. Obviously, you would use Walls.io then to collect, curate, and display all the great content on your web platform.
Fantastic, Michael. Beautiful addition to Ginny's suggestion. We're very close to the end of the show, so we're going to have to be brief to answer Thomas. Sorry, Thomas, in this case, but we're going to have to be brief to answer Thomas's question. Thomas organizes B2B events, and so far his results on Facebook for promotion was not what he has expected compared to, for example, LinkedIn. Maybe in short and sweet, you could let us know some best practices for Facebook promotion in the B2B event industry.
Well, I would need one piece of information that is missing here. Are we talking about organic or paid? So let's be realistic. Organic promotion of B2B stuff, events, products is not going to work in 2022. In 9 out of 10 cases, very unlikely. As Virginia pointed out earlier, organic reach was reduced on all the platforms really, but of course Facebook and Instagram the most. So what that means is, of course, get your wallet out and start paying for promotion. Yes, there might be exceptions if you're doing really good, strategic, and clever community-based marketing, as Virginia, I'm sure she will point out. There's still ways to get free or organic reach. But reality is in 9 out of 10 cases, you will simply have to do very good paid advertising. And I mentioned it before, or I think I mentioned it before, it makes so much sense to have an expert for this. If you're not familiar with the advertising tools of Facebook and Instagram and other platforms and the targeting options, you're going to lose waste a lot of money.
Thank you, Michael. Jenny.
Yeah, I think just coming back to Michael's point about the kind of the hacking into other like communities and places around big events, right? So targeting those people that are going to these things. I think that this question here is related to paid results. I don't think he'd be asking us like, oh, hey, I asked all my friends to come to my event and it's like not working. I'm pretty sure he's talking about paid advertising. And here I would just really like, take your current content that you're doing and your ads that you're running and actually run them by a few like high level marketers or friends like put it on LinkedIn, right? If you have a good LinkedIn network, actually like look for some marketers and just be like, hey, like I would love for you to just like look at my ad and tell me what you think, how you think you could do it better, or, what you think about this, and actually get some opinions, because most likely the photos that you're using, the content that you're using, the copy that you're using just isn't actually expressing the message of like how amazing your events are. We were talking about LinkedIn before. I'm just going to quickly just note on that. I think that LinkedIn is the top number one platform to actually get business, right? B2B clients in, right? I would say Facebook is way more a B2C tool. And with LinkedIn, I mean, I loved LinkedIn. I'm a huge fan. I had a video that went viral, like 150,000 views or something. Like I enjoy that platform very much. And I think there's so much more that we can do with LinkedIn, and it's not really utilized. So I would say also like do what's working well, right? If LinkedIn is working well for you and you're getting good returns on there and your audience is on LinkedIn, maybe your audience isn't on Facebook. So look at the ads first, see that it's not, that you're actually not portraying it in the right way, and then stick on LinkedIn, because that's obviously converting well, and maybe invest more energy into magnetizing the right people towards you on LinkedIn, and maybe also creating like a better storytelling strategy. Like I think we need a lot more videos, a lot more personal content on LinkedIn that doesn't feel like so businessy and salesy, but it feels a little bit more human. And that's what I've seen like go viral a lot better.
Perfect, guys. Lovely closing word. Last mention from my side towards LinkedIn, as you said it a few times now. Daisy, who asked the question before, is the official 700th follower of Sweep on LinkedIn. So thanks for that. My colleague Mia will put the link into the chat, and feel free to become number 701 to 710, 20 or 30, the community. That was a little salesy promotional pitch there to close this.
Let's go, guys. Also, feel free to add us on LinkedIn. I had the problem that Michael said. I didn't go in there, but I found a button. You can take all the messages and you can just click all on red. So that's what I've done. So everything is red, and I've accepted all the things. I have a clean LinkedIn now.
Fantastic. We will put the links to Michael and Virginia's profiles in the chat. My colleague Mia will do that right now. Anywhere else there where we can find you soon? Are you speaking at an event? Any other social profiles where people should follow you?
Definitely my Instagram at Virginia Salas Castillo. Just copy it from the LinkedIn profile that's being sent, because it's a little bit complicated. And our community is Humans I Trust. And next, I'm actually going to be at a retreat called Ecstatic Awakening in Spain. That's going to be amazing. And then I'm going to be at Burning Man. And then the whole UN stuff at the end of September, and then COP27, and then World Economic Forum in Davos. So that's my next sort of plan. So anyone who's going to be around there, definitely hit me up.
Lovely. Michael, where can we find you?
Well, I'll be totally honest. I'm really happy that the Prime event season has just been finished, or at least the spring event season has been finished. So for the next 1 or 2 months, you will find me either at the office or at the beach in Greece. For the audience, please, best way to get in touch is, of course, LinkedIn. You can just search for Michael and Walls, and you will find me. You can also email me at michael@walls.io. And of course, when it's time for when autumn will come, of course, the whole event conference circus is starting up again. I don't even know where I will be. I will be at DMEXCO in Cologne, that's for sure. I will be at SaaStalk in Dublin, that's for sure. Might do a trip to the States for SaaStr, another software conference, and I don't know what else in between. So that's the 2 or 3 major autumn events.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Guys, you were amazing. That was absolutely great content you shared. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your knowledge. And I have the feeling our community will be seeing you soon again and again at some point. So great for that. Thank you very much. I'm going to let you go now and say goodbye to the community. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Have a good week.
Okay, so that was Virginia Salas Castillo, and Michael Kamleitner from Walls.io. Last words from my side. First of all, thank you for joining. Obviously, everyone, all the content, as usual, will be shared in our community channels on Slack, and you will be receiving an email with the content, especially if you weren't able to join. We are doing a summer break now. So just as Michael mentioned, it's the event summer break time. There won't be any August edition of the Happy Event Planner, so we'll see you back in September. You will receive an email with all the information or be able to find out more in our Slack community, which you can join on the banner down there. So that was it. Great stuff. Guys, have a lovely rest of the week, and we'll be seeing each other very soon for the next session. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.